Hello gang, good to have you back again. Of course, if you're tuning in for the first time, I am the Articulate Grunt. Welcome to my channel. And yes, for those of you that tune in on a regular basis, I am bringing you a second Springfield video in the same week, primarily because of information coming out of the Monday night City Council meeting and the Tuesday City Council luncheon that I just felt I needed to get out and get to you rather than waiting to maybe put it out next week if there was nothing next week. And there might be other stuff then. But enough of me chit-chatting, let's get down to business. $4.6 million was residual one-time funds available for one-time expenditures or other uses, and a proposal was put forth by the City Budgeting Office to put $500,000 of that into the city's emergency fund. The other $4.1 million, though, got proposed and will be considered, looked at, and possibly voted on in 2 weeks to be spent on new equipment for the Springfield City Police Department. Now, we have a patrol fleet. The vehicles we've got we've got some very good, very newer vehicles, and we've got some older vehicles that have been around for a while. This would go to replacing some of those, getting some new equipment, body armor, and possibly, one of the things being looked at, body cameras for the Springfield PD. Now, the body cameras are possibly being looked at because there are several federal grants and other possible sources of funds out there with everything that's been going on that might be able to be acquired and used to purchase the body cameras instead. But it is on the docket, and if those don't pan out where we can get federal government to pay for them for us, they're one of the items being looked at for purchase through this money. Now, a proposal was made to reslot $250,000, $250,000 for a one-time purchase of new patrol vehicles specifically for ticketing patrols. That's right, the guys that get out there and look for you speeding or parking wrong and write tickets, as well as hiring those officers to go with it. This, however, was strongly opposed by Mayor Stevens and a member of the council because they didn't want one-time funds going to something like that, where without the recurring budget, without the money being available every year to pay those officers, they did not want to risk those four positions that would be becoming basically a, commission-type based pay, where the officers get their pay, but they've got to make up for it. Where they feel responsible to write more tickets, thus to generate the revenue to prove that they're worth having. That amendment got handily shot down, and as I said, the rest of the proposal by the Budgetary Office will be looked at over the next 2 weeks and possibly voted on at the Monday night meeting 2 weeks from now. Now, there was a lot of other little stuff that went on back and forth. That kind of thing happens. But the other thing really of note for you to think about were 3 new projects went through that it's kind of a cursory. The City Council looks at it to see whether or not they qualify for Blight Exemption status. Now, what these are the leveling, taking out of old structures, old houses, old buildings, and the putting up of new apartment-style, multi-family living arrangements, basically apartment buildings and such. And these are predominantly around MSU. The thing of this being, though, they're looking at putting them in a large neighborhood area that in 1965 was put on a blighted list. Now, the problem with this being, it was reaffirmed in 1967. This was done by the state, not the city. Some portions of this area have already been rebuilt, have been improved, and really shouldn't be on there. And the thing of it is, if the properties qualify really by state mandate, the city can't say no. Which means they basically pay what's being paid right now in property taxes for the next 10 years. Sometimes out to 25 years, where they don't pay an increase. Now, in the case of these 3 particular projects, it's going to save the various developers $650,000 in the next 10 years that they will not be paying to the city of Springfield. Now, you figure 80% of that goes to our schools. So, roughly $60,000 a year that will not be going to and improving, supporting the Springfield school system, and instead will be lining these developers' pockets. Can they afford it? Could they afford to pay the taxes? Would the projects not happen? Could they not afford to do it if not getting this blighted exemption? Maybe. That'd take a lot of investigation, but unfortunately, the state didn't leave us the ability to do that. Plus, we can't request a compensation for the lost funds from the state. They wrote that in really well. If you think about it, $60,000 a year, that could be a couple of teachers. That could be a teacher and the restoration of a music program. So many things that could help out with around the city and our school systems. So, being tired of being stuck with these, several city council members are calling for a board and evaluation to be done and to look through the blighted areas because We can't repeal the entire state blighted mandate, but what they can do is what they're jokingly referring to as donut holes. Finding places where it's been restored, where it's been rebuilt, and getting it off the blighted list. Little spots across that region that are no longer considered blighted, which also means something that we have seen in Springfield. A business will go and do a restoration, do a rebuild, sometimes level old buildings and build completely new facilities in their place. Get the blighted exemption, not have to pay those taxes. And then 10 or 25 years down the road, because it's still on the blighted list, it's still in the neighborhood, come back and automatically get that tax exemption again. And quite simply, the mayor and city council are tired of the taxpayers getting stuck with those bills. Because when they don't pay their taxes, it costs all of us. So, brought you the two primary things that I found bothersome and need to get out to you today from the City Council meeting and luncheon. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, i.e. leaving your thoughts and comments down below. Hit the like or dislike, and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves, and remember, others can throw up speed bumps, but the only individual who can really keep you from being the best and doing the best you can do in your life is you. Get up, get out, get involved. Take care. I am the Articulate Grunt, and I will catch you next time. Until then, out from here. Bye.